Breakfast doing the podcast too.
Hey, do what you got to do, man. Be on.
Good morning, America. It is I, Jay Sims the Lion, and we are back this Saturday morning with another episode of the Book of Man Saturday Conversation. Is me with the doc. We got all kind of good stuff for you this weekend. But you know, we back in the midst of college football season. We doing ACC this week. So all my Clemson, all my North Carolina, my Georgia Tech, NC State, Duke, all y'all out there in ACC land, man. I wish y'all a good weekend unless you playing us. Other than that, y'all have good luck. What's going on, Doc?
Man, what is happening, bro? Well,
I forgot about the U. Can't forget about the U.
for sure. Because them kids playing this morning too.
Oh yeah. I know y'all out there getting set up. You're getting your tent set up at your kids' game. I know you out there. You're getting ready. You got the grill going because some of y'all is homecoming, all that good stuff. Listen, before you do that, you should be here watching this. Right before.
That's right. We always got some good stuff for you.
Oh yeah.
Why I get a little bit of feedback right there? Let me see what's going on.
You sound good on my side, Doc.
Oh, well, maybe it's just me then. Well, we're gonna roll with it. But yeah, today is a good day, and especially for the nerds like me. You know, the Comic-Con is here in our city today. So
it is.
We are gonna go with the family. We're gonna pick up some more gadgets and trinkets for the studio here, and we're gonna keep moving and preparing.
They had Dragon Con here a couple of weeks ago. It was nice just riding around the city.
Yep.
People without their outfits and their costumes and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I don't have a costume yet, but I might do one eventually. But get some stuff for the nerd podcast, which I ain't gonna call it that, but I don't know. You say I gotta get a better name. Probably gonna have no name. The no name.
Yeah, you gotta do better than the nerd podcast. I mean, really, I mean, you might want to look and see if that's out. If that's been taken. If it hadn't been taken, that might not be a bad name.
Hey, we'll see what's what. But it's coming soon. You know, my kids pushing me to do it. I got some young men that's ready to go, so we're gonna go.
You gotta go.
But regardless, today, well, no, before I get into that, we got some housekeeping. First of all, the show's already started. Let me remove that. Now, if you are watching and this is live, you have a couple ways you can interact with us. Number one, the easiest way, you can just put a comment at the bottom of the screen that you're watching. We'll throw it up on the screen. We'll talk about it. You know, we'll go from there. The next way, which is the more interactive way, is you can click the link that's in the description that says talk with us. Click on that. I see you in the green room. Please just turn your camera on so I can see who you are. And once you do that, I can throw you up on screen with us. You don't have to keep your camera on at that point. You can turn it off, just do audio, and you can say your piece. You're welcome to hang out for the whole show. Or you can come on and say your piece and dip out. Whatever you want to do, that's where we are.
All right, this weekend, man, I think we got a really, really interesting topic. I really wish we had more time than we have available. We're going to probably end up doing 2 parts of this because it's just so much to unpack. And I really think it's kind of impactful and very relevant and prevalent to what we do and what we believe.
Right.
So we had someone appear recently, Mr. Michael Beasley.
Coach Reese posted it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Coach Reese posted Michael Beasley. He appeared on the Pivot podcast, and he brought a lot of light to men's mental health and individual mental health, for that matter. And I think we need to talk about a lot of the things that was brought up and talked about in that podcast.
You're right. And that's why we titled this show. And you'll see in the thumbnail, you know, he is me. He is me. He is us. That's all of us. So.
Well, I think, especially with that title, he is me, is we can probably all relate to at least one thing he's talking about. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when you don't address that one thing, when it happens, when that stuff starts to pile on you.
Yeah.
And when it gets to a situation that's really hard for one individual to handle. But let's get into it. Let's show them what we're talking about.
Okay, so I got several points, but this first one, you see NBA Michael Star Beasley, shout out to the Pivot podcast. This is their material, not ours, But here we go.
They fight, and they bust their
everybody
ass.
just sit there and laugh, like ants.
Meet Nest Aware,
now we
a
got
subscription
ads.
service that works with all your
We gonna
Nest
get rid of
cameras,
those ads. Sorry,
speakers,
y'all.
and displays. For just $6 a month, you can see and
here.
Trying to walk or go through whatever he go through. Motherfuckers just sit there and make jokes. Allen Iverson was a fucking joke for a while until everybody found out that wasn't true. He turned. It's like, bro, no, bro. Being black is so fake right now. It's like motherfuckers only care when it's time for somebody to die and the cameras to show. It's like, bro, motherfuckers is out here showing every day that they need help. It's in the music, and we only listen to it till these die. It's like, bro, everybody out here needs help, and everybody walking around this motherfucker like they got it all together.
I'll be the first.
Everybody.
Let's stop it right there.
He said a lot. He's not wrong.
Mm.
A lot of us need help in some way. Some of us financial, some of us mental, some of us our physical health and well-being. Some of us in our relationships, and I think he's correct. In our community, in our culture, we oftentimes try to walk around with the "I don't need nobody" vibe, and meanwhile we suffer in silence.
And this gentleman, he is suffering bad. Listen to what he said. He referenced other people, but he was really talking about himself. And he said people need help, and they screaming out for it every day.
Yeah.
Through the music, through their actions, they saying they need help, and nobody listening. Matter of fact, they laughing at them.
He's right. But I think what we do as a people and what we need to work on as a people, especially as men, is I'm good.
Yeah.
Somebody asks you, your answer, your default reliable answer is I'm good.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from something we've talked about before about men not having a real group of friends and people they can rely on where they can come back and say, yo, I'm not good.
That's right. I think we need to work on communication.
Big time.
And by that, from two fronts. One, yeah, when somebody asks if you good, and if it's somebody you trust, tell them. And stop burying those feet. Like, we get so used to carrying burdens. We get so used to doing it until it's automatic. So even if it's something small, we don't say, nah, man, I ain't doing so good. Because we trivialize everything. We make it small. But the other part of the communication is this. I saw a video one time, and this is why I started doing this on a lot of my videos. The guy said he was talking to his best friend, and he asked him, man, you all right? And he said, yeah, I'm good. And he killed himself the next day. He wasn't good. And what he started doing is having the guys rank themselves between 1 and 10. Because it's not a, you good? Yeah, I'm good. But if you have to give a number to it, that changes the game right there. Because now you can say, I'm a 4, man. And when I hear 4, okay, a little bit of something wrong. I'm good, man. I'm just at a 4. And I know something wrong. So we got to communicate on how to ask our questions and how to give our responses.
Okay, let's first off, I love when you do that, and I really think it's great that you that's a good way, a good barometer. I think as men we understand something like that, and we're more willing to say I'm a 3 or a 4 or whatever than we are to say, man, I ain't feeling great or I'm not. But let me ask you this: whose responsibility is it to let people know they're not okay?
Ooh.
Is it my responsibility to pick up on it or is it that individual responsibility to let me know they're not okay?
Well, all right, here's my answer to that. Number one, the person who's not okay, if they choose to take that responsibility for themselves, then they can let you know. But I'm not going to put that on the people that's asking. I don't have a responsibility to check on you, but I do that. That's a part of who I am. That's a part of my foundation. But I do think we should do it more, just as a course of just checking on somebody else, man, so they don't X themselves out the plan. I know Kevin Samuels had the video, and I put it up in the group, and I find it, I might play it again, where he says some guys will be okay if they didn't wake up in the morning.
Now that's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty. That's a high level statement. And I can say I have gone to bed feeling that way in my life. You know, like, well, you know, the folks around me might be better off if I don't wake up tomorrow. I felt that way. There have been times when I felt like that. There's been times when, you know, things was rough and I didn't think I was adding much value to the world or the people around me. And it felt that way. So I definitely know it's true.
And that's why I named the thing He Is Me.
Right.
Because we all had that. But here's the hard part about it. And again, I'm talking about myself. You know, I always put myself out there. I want to show y'all that it's okay to say this is what happened. I can remember times when I was going through it, man, rough. And, you know, I was like, I hope I get in a car accident. I hope I run off the road. I mean, I was hoping for that because stuff was just rough. Like, it feel like you just can't win.
Yeah.
At simple stuff.
You know, the way this world is set up, it doesn't take much for an individual to feel like they don't have a lot of value, a lot to offer to the world or to the people around. You know, we all get into these, when you really look at it, the grand scheme of things, these small hiccups. But at the time they feel, you know, you feel overwhelmed. Recently during the pandemic, I was out of work. And the little extra money stopped coming. I was, I was in I felt real bad for myself. I didn't know what I was going to do for a little minute there. And it was really rough. And I didn't know if I was going to leave where I live now and run back home or all kind of stuff. I was really struggling with what, I called and talked to you. We talked about it.
Yeah, we did. And I remember you said, I got this interview coming up.
Yeah.
You said that.
So it's you definitely can get in a rut where I think for us as men, it's not even sometimes that being in a bad position, it's being in a bad position and not knowing what to do. That is so frustrating and scary for us. If I'm in a bad situation, like, for example, a fight is a bad situation, but I know what to do in a fight.
That's right.
So I'm not that worried. If I'm behind on some bills, but I know some money coming that's gonna cover it, I'm not that worried. Hey, you'll get your money on the 12th, homeboy.
Yeah. Okay.
You keep calling my phone or whatever, you gonna get it on the 12th. You want to call and talk to me every day, we can ask some other questions. How your life going, how your wife doing, or whatever. But your money ain't coming to the 12th. So that's not a pressure situation. But when that bill due, or the kids need this and kids that, it ain't, and there's no money coming, and you don't know how you're gonna get it, and you don't want to do nothing illegal because you ain't going back to that life. It can be scary.
Well, I'm gonna come at this from a different angle. From the thing that I learned when I taught at a school where more wealthy people lived, I got the opportunity to view the world from a different angle. And when we talk about things, we'll talk about trying to survive, having enough money or working. And a lot of people go through that. But in this case, with like Michael Beasley or even somebody like myself, we're okay. I gotta, we make enough to live. That's not really your issue. They're not firing teachers. They just ain't. But the thing is that the mental part of it, that's the tough one, the mental, where you feel like you can't win. Like, for instance, I had this thing, man, and this was a train of thought that went through my mind at one time. Remember, Swanee, man, hey, thank you, bro, for posting that. I'm gonna come back to that, and we're gonna talk about that to comment in just a minute. But this is what a lot of men felt. Remember when the Will Smith incident happened? And
the Will Smith Chris Rock?
Yes. And he got up, slapped Chris Rock and all that. And the ladies was like, that's what he was supposed to do, defending his wife. And that's what they wanted. They wanted that behavior. Now, for people who not cut out like that, they don't handle stuff like that. So the person you love wants a thug that's gonna go and beat up people, but you not that. But you entrench with them. They want you to be something that you're not. You can't win, even if you provide and protect the way that you know how. That causes everybody the least amount of stress and exposure, but that's not aligning with what they view that is, and you can't win. When you work in a job that wants you to be a certain way, but it's just something you just can't do. You can't win. That make people want to quit.
Well, I think, and this bug was kind of just put in my ear. Society puts a burden on men, black men in particular, to be
overstressed.
Yeah. As
it's a system of oppression.
If you don't, you can provide, but you don't provide enough. Well, you can defend, but you don't defend enough. You can protect, but you don't protect enough.
But think about what it is. It's not that you don't do enough, but you're not doing it the way they want you to do it.
Right. That's what I mean by enough. No, because if you're not doing it the way it's not enough. Even if you're okay, I'm in charge of your protection. Okay, cool. But I'm not gonna get up and slap Chris Rock. What I will do is have us leave an environment where somebody's gonna talk negative about my wife.
Yeah.
Is that not? I'm protecting her one way or the other. I'm just not gonna have us in an environment where somebody talking negative about my wife if that's the issue on the table.
For sure.
And so but at the same time, that move might be looked at as a weak move by certain people.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
or even if he yelled out, hey, don't do that.
Right. So it's definitely a catch-22 a lot of times, and that's where it comes from. That like I said earlier, that it's not the I have to do this. It's the I have to do this, and there's no win, or I don't know how, that puts all the stress and pressure on you. I don't care about being in a fight because I know I can fight. And I know what to do in a fight. Don't get hit that guy. Real simple.
That's it. Fight dirty.
Right. Whatever it takes. Win the fight. So that's not a scary situation.
Hit the soft spots. But let's look at this, man. So Swanee put this up, and hopefully one of these days he gonna come on the show. Powerful brother. But he said TD Jakes' books, He Emotions, is a good read. A lot of us were not conditioned from childhood to express ourselves outside of competition or anger. Manhood is one of the toughest hoods that I've experienced. We have very few examples of how to walk through life holistically as men. These conversations
that's a good line.
I know.
That's a good line, holistically. That's a good one. Absolutely.
You know what I think? I've come to this realization over the past maybe year. Because I hear a lot of people say men aren't conditioned to talk. Men aren't conditioned to do this or that. And I start thinking, like, why is everything our fault when we the one that's hurting? And when I start hearing this stuff, you know what I really think? And I need to verify this. I need to read some studies and talk to some professionals about their curriculum. I really think that they don't understand how we work. They understand how women work, and they're trying to make us fit into that box. They want us to communicate like that. But I think we require something totally different that people are not willing to look into.
Okay, well, I think this goes back to the question I asked earlier. Is it the responsibility of the specialists and the academics to go out and figure out what's going on with men? Or is it men's responsibility to go and say, hey, there's something going on with us. Help us. Because maybe the reason they have more understanding of women is because women have been more inclined to go out and say, hey, I need some help. I'm asking the question.
All right. Well, let me lay some stuff on you, and I'll find my evidence from academic men that said this. In their training, their academic training, they are not allowed to do that research. If they do it, they will lose their tenure. They will be blackballed. I mean, I've seen several of them that said that. Or when they're in the doctoral phase, and you get to choose your own topic in the doctoral phase. Okay, I want to write, this is the problem, I want to write about this. It has to be approved by a chair, right? When these guys write these topics to look into men's issues, it's not approved. They can't even continue, or they have to change it so much to include women at the same time. So I argue that it's not even there. It is not. We're not the same. Women are way more complex in a thing with emotionally, but I think that we communicate differently. I think it's a different set of levers that cause us to do what we do.
I tend to disagree with that women are more complex. I think women have been given the freedom, as they should, to explore their emotions and their
more complex
than men have.
Look at this. So let's say that, you know what you said, you can we start to explore our own thing, come up with these solutions and all of that, right? We have. And you know what it's called?
What's that?
The manosphere.
Yeah.
And you know what happened? They canceled it. They canceled it left and right.
Everybody that comes out of it.
Look up men's rights activists and what happens to them. They can't do anything without them canceling it. There are no shelters, nothing for men in the whole United States. It's like one of them.
There's one in Savannah.
For men?
Yep.
Well, it's two of them then. There's two of them. That's it. But what I'm saying is that when these dudes need help, it's nothing there. But I will say this. It is on them to seek the help from one of their brothers, just like we did.
Right. And I really believe that's the main point. That if we can sit here and say there's nothing out there, which seems really weird considering we are in the patriarch, that there's nothing out here to help men, then it is our responsibility to help ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, just the bottom line. Now, we know there's not going to be a huge, tremendous push because we don't purchase. Women make 80% of the purchasing decisions in the world, in America.
Right.
So the businesses are always going to cater to women. Even things that are for men, they're going to advertise to women to buy them for their man.
That's right.
So,
hey, biggest example. Remember the F-150 from the 90s?
Yeah.
And how it was kind of rounded and curved?
Yeah.
That was for women. That's why Ford did it.
Because they...
Oh, go ahead, Jay. We'll talk about it. Let me pull that down. You finish saying what you're going to say, then I'm going to throw it back up there.
Yeah. It is what it is, man. Like, you know, so if we know that we're not going to get any help from these companies. But watch this. Even though the women make 80% of the purchasing decision, men are still making more money than women. So we still got some money somewhere. We must invest in ourselves.
All right. Well, let me address this comment, then I got something to say about that. But yeah, Swanee said he never knew that. So if I'm pursuing my doctorate and want to write a dissertation on manhood-related topics, there's a possibility you will get denied. Yes. Look at Dr. Tia Son Johnson. He talks at length about that and how at the symposiums that they go to, that they intentionally do that. And most of the professors that's in these things are academic feminists, and they cut it off. And it just keeps going. But to go back to what you were saying, I think we do in terms of the money. Yeah, we make more money on a aggregate than most women do. But how do a lot of men spend that money?
On women. We spend the money on, we know we spend the money on our women and our children. That's clear. But we can't sit here and say there's nothing available for us. We see ourselves and our brothers struggling.
Yeah.
And not make some effort. That's why we started this platform. This is
That's
our
true.
small little effort.
Yeah. It is. It is.
And if we help one, great. And if we can create some conversation, my hope for this is we have these conversations and we create these, people are having, because of our conversations, people are having these conversations in their own little realms, in their homes, in their jobs, and all that good stuff. So
that's right.
That's what I hope is happening. But
they all need help. Real quick, I have to do my obligatory suicide rate chart, just because people did not know, and this is why this is important. This is from the Whisker database, leading causes of death among males in 2020. Look at this right here, up right there. Suicide, ages 10 to 14. Number 3, suicide, 15 to 24, 25 to 34, suicide again. Suicide. It's the top behind unintentional injury. That's people getting injured in car accidents and at work. But after that, they Xing themselves out the planet. Once you hit 40 years old, heart disease, we're not eating right, but then we killing ourselves. That's why this is important. That's why we're talking about this. And I agree with you, Jay. We need to keep doing more stuff like this. We need to be talking more and let people know that we trust one another, that I trust you to say this. And once you say that, then they can help. They can help kind of point you in the right direction and give you that push in the back.
Okay, let's stay right there with trust.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think trust between men is so low?
Man. That's a good question. All right.
If the issue here is trust, and I do believe believe part of it is trust, because I don't necessarily feel like I can talk to most people, most men, most women. I don't feel like I can talk to openly and honestly about what's going on.
No.
So why do we feel as men there's no trust? I think part of it, this is my small little belief, is the spaces for men have gotten so small.
Oh yeah, because the barbershop, not even a barbershop no more.
Nope.
But in terms of trust, I mean, this is a multifaceted response. And I would say with something this big, it's no one thing. So I can't say it's just this one. It's a multitude of things.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, like you said, the lack of spaces. 2, and I say this, people gonna hate me for it, but I'm gonna say it. Single parent homes, single mother homes specifically, responsible for this because of the males that's raised. They're emotional, and they take on that. They can't do it.
Well, I think part of that is they haven't grown up feeling comfortable talking to men.
That's
because
right.
it hasn't been one in their home.
We talked about that in the book study. Remember Thursday when the book said you had to get used to taking criticism from your man friends and get used to having masculine energy. And that's what happened with the young people right now, not used to it. They're not. And I'm going to say this it's somebody's fault, but overall, people survive in the best way they know how. I'm gonna say that. But this is just what happened. Also, I think that we don't know ourselves. We don't. Most men are, when it comes to stuff outside of work, just consumers. We consume.
Do you believe men in previous generations knew themselves better than men now?
Man, you had some good questions.
Well, that's my job, Doc. You know, I bring the question, you bring the answer.
I see that. So I think that people that came before
us old uneducated folks, when we get opportunities to speak to you people with them letters behind their name, we got to take advantage.
Hey, just because I got them letters don't mean nothing. I'm just like y'all. But to answer your question, though, this is what I think. I think that it's a different time, and we can't compare. And we don't have the data. I don't have the data at hand to know if they were committing suicides at the same rates. Was stuff easier? Did they know themselves? Maybe, because they got to spend time with themselves without outside interference. And they spent more time with other men. They went out to these lodge meetings and, they sat up under the tree outside and, they did all this stuff. And that was cool. So we got to experience that. But these days we moving 24/7. We don't stop. We don't even take the time to know ourselves, know our triggers, what makes us mad, what hurts our feelings, what brings us down. How do we need to adjust what we're doing to make ourselves feel better? Because we just moving. So that's a tough one, man.
I do believe men in previous generations had more space that was just a man's space.
Mm-hmm.
And that probably lend itself to more conversations that men would have. We are definitely at a point where it almost at times, if you are a heterosexual man, if you're a heterosexual man, you're almost automatically the villain. It feels like that sometimes. Mm-hmm. I don't think it is that way all the time, but sometimes it automatically feels like that. And I do not want to discount the experience of women.
Mm-hmm.
But it hurts when you hear women speak and they just have this almost borderline distrust, this borderline concept that men are dangerous or I should be afraid of them. It hurts because I'm not that guy. Even though I understand their experiences may have taught them that.
But then a lot of times, you know what? It may not even be experiences. It's just what other people have said.
Well, that's
been passed down through the generations.
That's part of it too. But it's happened. The things they're talking about has happened. It may have not happened in a large quantity. It may not happen recently, but it has happened. It is based in some logic or some, reason. And it just hurts to hear it be said.
So, and I agree, especially, I take it personal. I do. A lot of this stuff, when they show us on television being bumbling idiots or supremely evil, I don't like it. When people don't trust you, when you find yourself changing your behavior, like walking in a certain way, so people won't accuse you of something. Like if it's a lady, like I'm at a school, and if it's a lady getting something off a shelf, or I'm coming in a room and she don't look, I say, I'm right behind you.
Oh yeah.
I say it out loud.
Yeah, let you know.
Just for that purpose. But let me ask you this. Was Mr. real? Because a lot of us are like we're Mr. Is he real?
It's definitely, the things have definitely created real results. I'll give you an example. I won't let myself be in a closed room
Nope.
with a woman.
Nope. Unless she the one that live with me.
Exactly. and it's not even, it's because one, I don't want her to think anything. Two, I don't want other people to think anything.
Yep.
And it's almost like, damn, I got to really walk on. I got to be very careful about what I say, where I go, and I don't walk around with any of those intentions.
No.
But I know it's a real thing, and it's hurtful that, like, wow, I really have to make sure I don't. If I open this door and there's a woman in this room getting something, and I need something out of here too, I got to wait till she come out before I can go in, even though she's not even in my way. Just because I don't want to be in the room where a person can say, "Oh, you was in there by yourself with this woman."
And that's a way of dulling our edge. So Swanee said conditioning as well. What you watch on TV about men, music you listen to with men, trashing our women, etc. So to that, we have been conditioned to the things that we put out. We have. And I'm going to refer to a statement called toxic humanity. That's what I call it. It's not men and women, because when you say men trashing women, of course, people think that happens a lot. And, but what also happens is women trash other women. That's why I think people are just toxic in general, or what's perceived as something else is always trashing and bashing. I mean, when you're actually telling the truth. I hear a lot of people say, and I guess we can circle back to the topic after this. I hear a lot of women say, people think that I'm mean. I just feel like this way. And all of them say that. But the truth is, what if someone really are mean? Is there room for that?
Yes, there is room for some of them really are mean.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is everyone's definition of mean isn't the same.
Mm-hmm.
I've been told I'm mean. I've been told I'm rude and abrupt. I am direct.
Right.
Especially in a professional atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So just because I am direct and you're not used to someone being direct, because we don't live in a direct world, doesn't make me mean.
Well, I'll say this. When there are people that's direct and they say what they say, and that's okay. But when what they say is laden with insults, or is said, they say they're telling the truth, but they use the truth as a blunt instrument to bash you about the head with it.
Is it an insult to say a fat man is fat?
Oh, no, not at all.
Some people will take it as one.
But you know what? All right. Michael Beasley talked about this too, and I'm glad we circling back. How about when they refer to men as boys? Or the term real man?
I don't like, we do it here. I'm a big proponent of it. I do not like undefined terms. And real man is a relative term.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's a real man to woman A is not a real man to woman B. What's a real man to man A is not a real man to man B. See, that is a relative term. It is not a definable term.
And you're right. And then circle back to something Michael Beasley said. They laughed at me. they say a real man. He later on in the interview, and I guess when we do a subsequent show, we can talk about that. Where he talked about crying. He said, "Oh, I'm not even crying in front of y'all. I am, but if y'all say something to me, then I can cut you behind." Now, a lot of people will be like, "Ain't a real man don't cry," and a lot of men say it. So let's shift to that. When we as men are programmed in such a way where we push other men down, and we don't even know we doing it.
I will to speak specifically to the crying, or even vulnerability at all. The level of trust required for a man to be vulnerable is extremely high.
Yep.
Because, and I believe this, a man has nothing to gain. Listen to my words. Has nothing to gain from expressing vulnerability to his woman or anybody else for that matter. He only can maintain his level of respect or have his respect level be lessened. But there is no gain for him.
You're right.
So that is why men are very rare to express their emotions and their vulnerability, because there's no net gain available. And we are cost benefit.
Yeah. We analyze that.
Right. So if there's no real gain available, there's only the ability to, either this person I'm with is going to maintain the same level of respect for me. This person I'm sharing this with is going to maintain that same level of respect. And and I know we need respect more than we need love.
Oh yeah, now I got some stuff for that.
Right. So either they're going to maintain this same level of respect for me, or it's going to be diminished. There is no gain. So it's a hard risk for us.
Back to the beginning, a battle you can't win. Can't win at all. So Akil Nasir say, I hate that term real man. You're right. They give an example and say real men do a thing. And if you don't do that, you're not a real man, man. FOH. And the truth is, when they say that, it's always an insult, a way to get you to do what they want you to do. That's how people use that.
Right.
And Nicole says she never thought of that. Yep, that's true. And people always say that stuff. That job don't work. Anytime your point with me is invalidated, the first insult that I hear, or if you say real man, this or that, whether you male or female, it's invalidated immediately. And I just turn it off. And that's just what it is. But for this though.
Excuse me, everybody. I had to get a little breakfast in me. And I want to send shots out. It was delicious. Had me a little breakfast skillet with the shrimp and sausage, eggs and cheese and pico on it, little cilantro. Wonderful. Thank you, baby. I appreciate that.
There she get the horn. But when you got your own show, you can do what you want.
I'm back. I'm back now. I'm back in for about 10 more good minutes.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about this part here. So Akil Nasir said, I teach my young kings it's okay to cry and get upset, but in the end, it won't change anything. Cry, get them feelings out, then figure out how to move forward, because crying won't change it.
Yeah.
But I saw a video. This gentleman said, there's nothing wrong with crying, but cry with a purpose.
Yeah.
Don't use crying to change a situation. That was powerful. Don't use it to change a situation. You can cry. I mean, Jesus cried and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I want to go back. Oh, now they say, Swanee say, get in that meal, bro.
Had to do it, man. We about to be out here at this football game in a minute. Oh, man, son, the uniforms finally came in looking sharp.
All right. I'm at the gas up for the Comic-Con in a minute. But but the thing is, I want to say this about what we was talking about. And you said that a lot of men, we need respect. Even biblically, in the Bible, when it gives instructions for husbands and wives. Wives is talking about wives respecting the husbands. Right. But it also, and this is the whole submission thing, which we could talk about that separate. But wives love the husband. I mean, wives respect the husband, and it's a husband love your wives. He telling us what we need.
Yeah.
And it said, treat your wife like Christ treated the church. That's what they need. We need respect. It was like this one piece.
That's it.
And I think that's what happened in like people like Michael Beasley. The respect was missing.
Right.
I think he didn't even love himself.
And the reason respect is so important for men is because respect is earned. Respect is earned. And when you are respected, you know you have earned something. You know you have added something. You know you have given something. Nobody, when they say in order to get respect, you got to give respect. No, in order to get respect, you have to do something. You have to earn it.
But Jay, watch this though. And I'm this circle all the way back to what we talked about in the beginning. And this happened to Michael Beasley. If you do things worthy of respect, but never get it.
That's
repeatedly.
And you got to think about, you take somebody like Michael Beasley. Michael Beasley played in the NBA.
Yes.
I think he was one of the might have been the number 1 pick or was a top 10 pick or something like that.
Top 2 pick of the Miami Heat. Top 2.
Right.
I mean, number 2 pick. Number 2
pick. That should earn you some respect. It's only a few people get respect. Only a few people get picked to go to the NBA. Ain't but 2 rounds of the NBA draft. Ain't but 60 guys getting selected. He was number 2 of those 60 guys. It ain't but 300 or so guys in the league.
Percentage is small.
So just by the amount of effort it takes to make it to the league, a man should have a certain level of respect. Now, can he lose that respect through his other actions off the court? Absolutely.
But he was saying people crying out for help like he was. But the thing is, the bigger your star is, the more you shine, the less people can see the darkness going on behind you. Because when they look at somebody like Michael Beasley and say, man, you playing the NBA, what you got to worry about? Yeah, but they ain't saying nothing about how he went to 7 high schools. He never established relationships with anybody. He said every year he was moving high schools. Every single year. He was there. They was home by themselves. He said my brother was making lasagna at 7 years old. Because there was nothing there. He talked about how he got first locked up in the 5th grade. So and I said all that to say this about respect. You know where it starts? You got to respect yourself. And too many of us don't respect ourselves. We don't. And you know how I know that? Because we talk about ourselves in ways that's not respectful. We call ourselves dumb, call ourselves stupid. I'm no good. I'm a thug. I'm a gangster. I'm a goon. We say all of these things, not respecting yourself. You don't even love yourself. And then it goes down this deep spiral because you can't expect everybody to respect and love you, but you got to love yourself first. Right? At least you got one fan.
You got to have at least one.
And that's you. So, all right, man. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. We'll continue this either next week or sometime in the week because I got about 8 or 9 bullet points on this thing that we got to get to.
And we want to definitely get through it. Y'all, hey, man, it's football season. My son in football. I got to get back out to the game. I appreciate y'all joining us, sharing this little bit of time with us. We'll be back. Hey, watch the Pivot Podcast. If you got anything you want to comment here. Comment under the previous post that Simone led. We want to hear y'all thoughts. We'll come back and we'll talk about it. We may do an impromptu show during the week.
Yeah. Link is in the description.
Link is in the description. Let us know. Thank y'all for joining us. Doc, you got anything you want to say, brother?
Yeah, I can't wait to get into the rest of this conversation. Fellas, respect yourself. Respect yourself. We respect things that's dangerous, respect things that's strong. That's you.
That's right.
So let's do it.
And thank y'all for joining us, man. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend. We out.
Peace.